Good evening. Welcome back to the One Celtic Fans View. Sorry, I was just reading the comments and that there. Danny Cassie's given us a super chat already. He's a superstar, is Danny Cassie. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Just comments and that there. Danny Cassie's given. There we go. All good. Right. I don't know how many people will be on tonight because there is a game of football on tonight. Might get people listening into that. What is sitting at? Where's everything? Views. Anyway, let's listen into, just make sure that all the volumes are sitting correct. Let's listen to Big Chris Sutton and see what he's saying about Celtic's chances of retaining the Scottish Premier League title.
Exactly. You mentioned the Jekyll and Hyde performance from both teams. That's been their issue. They've both been inconsistent this season, consistently inconsistent, haven't they? And I think if I was the Rangers manager and a Rangers player, to have that position of control as they did in the first half, and then to let that slip, that would have felt like a defeat for Celtic and Martin O'Neill. It would have felt like a good point in the end, but Celtic are hanging on in there in the title race by the skin of their teeth. And the truth is, it got up to Pittodrie on Wednesday, and they've got to sort of back up that second half performance with another strong performance and take 3 points. But it wouldn't surprise me if Celtic went up there and drew the game. It's just the nature of where Celtic have been this season.
It'd be interesting to see the goalkeeping situation. Martin O'Neill says it was an ill Kasper Schmeichel. How do you see that playing out for the rest of the season? Because presumably if he's ill, he should, in theory, come back in soon.
Should he? No, I really like the performance of Sinisalo at Stuttgart. Not that he didn't make any saves, which he should have done. I think he did. I thought he was commanding. I thought he had a presence. He is not a young kid. I've heard people say, well, he's a young goalkeeper. He's 24. And at the weekend against Rangers, he didn't notice him, and I'm saying that in a complimentary way, and I really liked that. I thought that he was assured. He didn't have any chance with the goals, and the truth is Kasper Schmeichel has been one of the best goalkeepers about, and in Europe for however many years. He has had a fantastic career, but you can't get away from the fact that this season he's conceded a lot of poor goals. So I think it's an easy choice for Martin O'Neill really to make, and that's Sinisalo. He's proven he's competent in a couple of big games now, and he needs a run in the team. And but to build on what he has, and I suspect he'll be first choice from here on in.
That was Chris Sutton talking about Sinisalo, and I think that pretty much everyone agrees that Sinisalo should be the first choice. It's just everything that he brings to the game. Now, an interesting one was listening to his battle companion, Chris Boyd.
Germany, a decent performance or a good performance second half, decent result for them as well. Celtic, yes, they go to Aberdeen. I was expecting them to get the 3 points there. They always do. And then they're getting a full stand at Ibrox the following week. The momentum's definitely with Celtic. So I think for Danny Reo, it was a tough one to take at the weekend, but he's going to have to bounce back.
Yeah, he's going to have to bounce back. As Chris Boyd here reckons the momentum is all with Chris Sutton. Next up is Martin O'Neill. We're going to listen to a little bit of what Martin O'Neill had to say about Aberdeen.
Well, a challenge that, and I've never ever gone up to Pittodrie where I've not found the game so difficult. They've always been hard, and I would expect exactly the same thing. It's a tough game for us, and I think the good thing about it is the players know that.
Of course, this is your game in hand as well, a chance to go within 5 points of Weir's Hearts. Then you've got the big cup quarter-final against Rangers at the weekend. Does this feel like a season-defining week, perhaps make or break?
Yeah, it is a tough week for us. This is our third game in 6 days, so that's pretty difficult. And but then we obviously we've got the game on Sunday as well too. But I really, just as I said about 2 minutes ago, I can't really focus on that there at all. The total focus is on Aberdeen, how difficult the game's going to be, and we have to try and stay in the race by Wednesday evening.
Just quickly, in terms of team news, any fresh injuries from the weekend? And I know Kasper Schmeichel missed out with illness. Is he back in for tomorrow?
He's still not feeling great at this minute, and so just allow him a bit of time then to get over it. You know, that's the medical sound anyway. So that's as for the rest of the side, a couple of little niggles. No point in discussing them with you at the end of the day. So I know it is what it is, but we will go there and play as strongly as we possibly can.
That is Martin O'Neill. Martin O'Neill giving nothing away. Doesn't mean there's going to be some changes in the team. I predicted the lineup this morning of Tierney, Scales, Murray, Arrojo at the back, because Trusty is out with that. He's on his second game of the red card that he got. In the midfield, I put McGregor, Benjanigran and Oxlade-Chamberlain to start to give him that. I'd give him another 45 minutes under his belt anyway. And then I went with Tenekti, Maeda, and I was thinking Junior Adamu, but do you go with Tam the Czech for the Aberdeen game? Do you just switch it up? That'll be the one that Martin O'Neill will think about. He obviously went with Dyson Maeda through the middle against Rangers to try and mix it up a bit. Tam the Czech didn't even get a look in. Will he utilise Tam the Czech in this game and say, look, you need to start producing, mate? It's as simple as that. And it leaves absolutely no place in the team for a few of the players that were brought in by Martin O'Neill in the last transfer window. Now, Tenekti, he was also speaking to the media today. Celtic put out one of their world famous 1 minute 50 interviews. 30 seconds of it was taken up by music. Good old Celtic. Speaking exclusively to Celtic TV, and they put out about 1 minute 20 seconds of it. Sebastian Tenekti reflected on the 2-2 draw at Ibrox, describing it as a strange game of two halves with the poor first half. When are we going to stop this poor first half stuff? Because, I don't know, it is getting to us. There's a lot of cold and flu going around just now. It seems to be flooring everyone. Kasper might have something like that. Yes, there is a lot of that going around. Could be that he's had that, and maybe that's why he was looking all puffy and bloated and stuff. Nothing to do with his weight. But anyway, Sebastian Tenekti says that, look, he was given a job to do by Martin O'Neill by coming off the bench in the second half. It was always going to be the case, he said. And he says he wanted to come on, help his teammates after a difficult display in a difficult first half. And the aim was to go on and try and win the game, or bare minimum, secure the draw. I thought it was interesting that he said that. It was, the objective was to go and win the game. Celtic didn't set out to draw. Worst case scenario that Celtic were looking at and wanted to look at was, worst case scenario was a draw. Could have won it, but we didn't win it. We move on to the next game. Manager talking in the full press conference this afternoon that it was only 8 minutes odd. 6 minutes 54. Can you remember when I've got to say it, but you remember when Wilfred Nancy was in as manager? The interviews were about 20 minutes long. Every interview was about 20 minutes long. Martin O'Neill's like 6 minutes. I can't be arsed talking to you, fucking get teeth. Anyway, Martin O'Neill says he confirms that Kasper Schmeichel's not feeling well and he's not be available for tomorrow and he needs proper recovery. The manager expressed satisfaction with the team's fight back in the second half of the previous game, noting that not many teams come back from a 2-goal deficit at Ibrox. The manager stated that the players were aware that they need to win and pick up points, acknowledging that they've put themselves in this position. The players know that they need to do better. Martin O'Neill knows that the players know that they need to do better. I think that's one thing. When you look at what else Martin O'Neill said, he states that the players are obviously well aware that they need to win and pick up points. The manager emphasised that the team needs to avoid spending 45 minutes on the back foot and compete in a Celtic manner. He acknowledged that the games are running down. There's no room for error, said Martin O'Neill, emphasising the need to treat each game on its merit and aim for a win with every single game. Said it's a season defining, as we all know that. We all knew that way before this week even started. I mean, we've been looking forward to this week for over a month now. The manager talking about Reo Hatate was an interesting one. And talking about getting the best out of Reo Hatate. He said that Reo Hatate has to do it himself. For me, it says that Reo Hatate is down tools. We all know it. Martin O'Neill would have been as well coming out and saying it. Martin O'Neill says that, look, we give him all the support, all the encouragement, everything that he needs to succeed. But when he crosses the line and he doesn't put in 80% of his capability as a player, it then becomes apparent that it is the player that is at fault. And Martin O'Neill as much as said it. He said we give him everything. The player needs to maintain his own form, despite it being a tough season for him. How has it been a tough season for Dyson? I thought that was a strange one. I know that he's not had great form, but does this all go back to last summer? Which means he spat the dummy out. He wanted away last summer, and it didn't come off. And we've kept a player this year. We've kept him, and he's been unhappy, and he's just not been in the mood. He's like, the fuck, I don't want to be here. Should he have been dropped a long time ago? Can he make the difference between now and the run-in? That's one of the strangest things. Rio had the best game of the season on Sunday. Yeah, I know, but it seems a bit weird that the manager is acknowledging that the player needs to do better. And the fact that he specifically said that we give him all the tools, we give him the support, we give him everything that he needs to be able to perform. It's up to the player to want to perform. Very, very sly of Martin O'Neill. The manager anticipates there's going to be a difficult game against Aberdeen, regardless their recent form. He expects them to be motivated. Motivated for the game. Jesus. The manager reiterates that this is a significant opportunity for Celtic. Significant opportunity to take second place in the league. And B, only points, maybe 5 points, but what's 5 points between now and the end of the season? It is a season where it's getting down to the money time, isn't it? It's getting down to the who's got the biggest set of cojones. Don't know. Who has? Martin's an old-fashioned manager. He is that. Jim Lister is going for Sinisalo, Tierney, Scales, Murray, Arrojo, Benji Nigrin, Callum McGregor, Ox, McCowan, Forrest, Big Tam and Maida. Wow. I don't think that there'll be as many changes as that. But we'll wait and see. That's the history. Yeah, it is. It's history that keeps on repeating itself. Keeping unhappy players at Celtic. Hopefully, I mean, there's not been any fans at Celtic Park for a while. The sack the board stuff has seemed to be on the back burner. The the whole negativity. The whole negativity about the club seems to have dampened down a bit. We're still waiting to find out the ins and outs of the Willie Hockey proposal for to buy shares on the behalf of the Celtic fans. There's still a lot to sort out. You know, and a week, a couple of weeks is a long time in football. And in the meantime, when you go into social media, everything regards said organisations has all went quiet. Yeah, the last time that they put something out, they reposted on the 17th of February, 21st of February. I mean, has the Willie Hockey thing completely wiped out the Celtic fans? Because they've just went and just they've just seemed to have disappeared off the face of the earth. I mean, the last thing that they put out was on the 21st of February. I know that we've had away games, but if they're trying to pick up any kind of momentum, it seems to have just fallen flat on its fallen flat on its face, hasn't it? Especially since you've now had big organisations, big fan media organisations, now distancing themselves from the whole Celtic fans collective. And it was big fan media organisations that were at the forefront of the Celtic fans collective. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that in the next couple of weeks. Why is there meant to be a protest? I have no idea what you're talking about, Eddie. Absolutely no idea. I'm just reading some of the comments. I've no idea. I'm not even looking at any Rangers stuff. I wouldn't know if they're. I wouldn't think that they're confident at all. Chris Sutton seems to think that Chris Boyd says that Celtic have now got the momentum. He says that Danny Rome is based on a sticky wicket. But anyway, done the predicted lineup. It's going to be a quick one tonight, eh? Let's jump into some of the comments. You're just saying hello to each other in the comments. I'm quite surprised tonight. It's quite a tame comment, and it is quiet tonight. There must be football on that it is so quiet. Chill pill. Here's your comment. This is getting close to a disastrous season. It must change tomorrow. I don't think it's. I mean, I get what you're saying, but there's still a lot to be sorted out between now and the end of the season. Don't know. United versus St. Mirren on the radio. People can't multitask. Said at the start of this whole Celtic fans collective was full of crap, according to Big Rab, not me, because there's people read and see me saying things and they come into the comments later on and saying, "What are you fucking talking about, you fucking prick, you?" He says that it was a load of crap and this was going to be the outcome. The change will come from Ross Dermott himself. Interesting one. Stephen's going for a 4-5-1 Sunday. We need to worry about tomorrow night. Tomorrow. Oh, Jesus. Not to mention the chairman leaving. Maybe they didn't like his name. Their chairman's leaving. I just need to catch up with some. The board said they would meet with the collective in the middle of March after the one last month. So we're allowing the board to dictate the narrative then for change. It's not really aiming for change, is it? That's what the board have done all season. They've said we'll get in touch, and then they don't get in stuff. They're playing ball to the end of the season. The board. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's not the way that I would do it, but we're almost at the end of the season now, and we're still talking about this. I mean, I made my point clear at the beginning of the season, the way that we should have went on full on attack, and it has turned into a bit of a lame duck, to say the least. But that's interesting. Murray had a bit of fresh air defensive duff that led to the goal. As has Cameron Carter-Vickers over the past. Liam Scales headed it into his own goal in one game. You could pick out defensive frailties in every single one of our defenders, mate. I mean, I know what you're saying, but let's be honest. You could actually pick out defensive frailties with every single one of our defenders. There's nothing. None of them have got a clean sheet when it comes to that. 4-0 tomorrow, says Kieran. I sometimes wonder why I read the comments. No, I'm not Crabbit. I'm just reading the comments, and the Crabbit comments are coming in. And then there's talking about Iran and stuff. I think we should just all get behind the team now until the end of the season, and then look at it again in the summer. Once we know more about Willie Hawkey's proposal, just allow the Green Brigade in. I mean, I think that leaving it until everybody knows my thoughts on it. Leaving anything till the summer's too late. It's only going to be another about another 8 weeks or something, and Celtic will be sending out the little reminders. Renew your season ticket now, and then they'll put out the deadline to entice Celtic fans or threaten them. If you don't renew by now, we're going to sell your ticket to someone else on the fabricated waiting list that isn't really a huge waiting list. We just don't get in touch with people because we are useless. But anyway. Wilson got back to a Celtic state of mind. Same crap looking into it. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? It's bollocks, mate. It's absolute. The boards are playing the fans like a pretty fiddle, and we're letting them away with it. Celtic due to give someone a doing. So, yep. Or that. We really need the Green Brigade. Well, I don't. I've no idea. I've no idea what will happen with that, because I mean, is there an appetite for the? I mean, what it's getting close to is it's getting close to the standing section getting closed altogether. But anyway, what's my prediction for the starting 11 tomorrow? I did it earlier on and I did it this morning, but I'll do it again. Off the top of my head, it was Scales and Dane Murray, with Rocco and Kieran Tierney in the midfield. It was Oxlade-Chamberlain with Callum McGregor and Benji Nikren, and then the front three, I'm going to go with, I changed it. I had Junior Adami this morning, but I'm going to go with Tam the Czech to start the game. I think he needs to start the game to try and get him producing. And then on the wing, it'll be Tenecte and Dyson. I think Martin O'Neill will go out with the strongest team possible to try and score as many goals as we can in the first half. And then we could finally put the lights out, put the Northern Lights out altogether for the season. Because once we beat them, there is absolutely no chance that Aberdeen will get into the top 6. Even Baz, it's going to be a difficult, going to be difficult, but still can win. I'm not condoning violence, but it could be the boards getting it doing. Says Garboy. Wonder how many of the 7,500 will be Green Brigade. Don't know. There won't be. See, the thing is they've got to get their tickets. I don't know if I've had their tickets switched back on. So, I mean, they can only get entry into games. And they can only buy tickets once their tickets have been activated. They will be in attendance. They were in attendance at the weekend. They will be in attendance at Ibrox, because it's not generally although they do get a block of tickets that are allocated through the club to the Green Brigade, a lot of the members for the Green Brigade get their tickets individually from their supporters' buses. Give me 2 seconds. So I just Huffy. Get the Green Brigade back in for the atmosphere. Right, let me just I think we do need to get the Green Brigade back into Celtic Park. But I think that, I mean, without knowing the ins and outs of what's all going on with the negotiations, I think the negotiations were completely unacceptable to Celtic, and they would be unacceptable to any section of the ground. I mean, I think looking for preferential treatment, as some fans would see it, and it is completely unacceptable to Celtic for that area of the ground to be policed any less or any different to any other part of the ground, as far as the board are concerned. But that's enough. I'm not talking about that. I am just going to talk about the team tomorrow, and then I'm going to wrap it up, because it's a really quiet night, and it's going to be a long night tomorrow. Hope the hockey process does come to fruition. I think it will. You've got to remember that this is the man that was in and around things when Fergus McCann took to power. So he's not adverse to upsetting the power brokers that be at Celtic Park. And it was always Fergus's dream to have the fans have a majority of say, but it just doesn't seem to be that way. Anyway, Celtic to beat the Dons by 3 or 4 goals. Hail, hail, says Vincent. That would be good if we do. How much do you think they would pay for Rojo? I don't think that we're going to even be in the market to get him. I'll be honest. I think that Celtic will go with the fact that you've got Alistair Johnston coming back, and then you've got the young lad that can play in the same position, Colby Donovan. Now, some people will say that Colby Donovan's nowhere near Julian Araujo. Now, and we don't know who the next manager is. I mean, we can't be going around. The next manager might not like Araujo, and I hope the next manager that comes in just comes in and going, I want the players I want. None of this. Oh, we've got this player that will fit the way that. No, I want the next Celtic manager to come in and say, I'm picking the players. I'm telling you the players I want, and you either get them or don't come to the club. That's the negotiations that have to take part with the next Celtic, the next manager that comes in. Because if he's going to come in and if he's going to allow the board to spend money on Araujo, to spend money on Tam the Czech, to spend money on whatever player they see fit over the summer before the manager comes in, that's exactly what happened to Brendan Rodgers in his first transfer window. He brought in 8 or 9 players, and he never fancied a single one of them, and the majority of them left the club within the first year, or they were put out on loan 2 years later. It's absolutely unbelievable that the manager should have these players thrust upon him, especially when the recruitment department at Celtic is in such disarray. I mean, have they even found a long-term replacement for the people that have left the club? Or are they waiting on the next manager to bring in his own people? And that's a big risk strategy as well. Not that I want to talk down the club the night before a game, but that is my answer. With no Green Brigade, it's like the COVID season all over again at Celtic Park. Pay your money on red cards for Sunday. I'm just jumping through this. Bonnie Tyler is singing this Sunday. I need a tifo. I need a tifo. Tifo to the end of the time. It's gotta be big. It's gotta be green, and it's gotta be head on the sign. I need a tifo. Oh Jesus. Oh, I'm only replying to that comment because somebody's probably just come on and went, "This fucking guy's nuts, man. He's absolutely nuts." St Mirren are bad. This last season, third bottom. The same St Mirren that beat us in a cup final. What are we talking about St Mirren for? The Dundee United and St Mirren game is boring. Is that why people have jumped back on? Anyone any idea how many players we've used this season? I reckon it's about 30. Can I ask what Hail Hail means or where it comes from, just so he understands? That's a good question. Where did it originate from? There's an old Celtic song, Hail, hail, the Celts are here. What the hell do we care? It goes way back in time, mate. It goes way past your great-grandfather and everybody. I think it was a more appropriate song to sing rather than Celtic's very anti-English and anti-crown songs that they have been known to sing over the years. That's putting it politely. Yeah, I think it was one of the better songs for the fan base. But anyway, right, that's me done for the evening. My throat is killing me. I need to keep it for tomorrow night. Hail Caesar? Don't know. It was way Hail the Celts are here was way before Caesar. But anyway, I'm just jumping through these comments. Was it for Caesar? Hail Caesar? I don't think so. Oh, Jesus. My neighbour said, can I supply the tiffle? Oh, Jesus. Right, that's me done and dusted. I shall be back tomorrow morning before a lot of lives. A lot of lives tomorrow night. And on that note, let's just make sure that we get the win tomorrow. Anyway, have a fantastic evening. Glenn Daly sang it. That's right. It was. I knew it was an old song, wasn't it? It's a song for way back, way back, way older than anybody on this channel. Anyway, I'm out. Laters.